All right. Final game of the day. I think RNG should be perma favorites for this. Red side has been seeing some uptick um, in terms of winning percentage, but especially as he filling in for Hanabi here, who I think is not one of the better tops in the tournament, but definitely a pillar for PSG, especially losing Maple and River in the mid lane. Uh, It'd be interesting to see. Lucian taken off the table away from Gala. There's a couple AD carries that you need to keep out of Gala's reach. Lucian and Kaisa, namely the big ones. Vladimir taken off the table for Ozzy is kind of interesting as an answer to potentially Ornn or in that mid lane. And the Graves being taken care of is also very interesting. Probably the premier AD jungler, if not that Viego. Speaking of Viego, reminds me that Ari and LeBlanc also remain unbanned. And outside of that, the Gwen pick is probably another S tier on the chopping block, potentially. But we will see. LeBlanc banned, so looking at potential first pick, Ari. Let's see if PSG can snuff it out. Camille is banned, so this is going to be first pick Ari. It's kind of interesting that they would ban the Camille, considering teams have been looking for the Galio Camille combo in response to the Ari, and they kind of shoot themselves in the foot in that point. Um, Kind of interested as to what the Camille is looking to answer. Um, Vex into Ari is understandable. We've seen this matchup be picked into Ari a couple times this tournament, so it's not too surprising. I do like the Senna pick. Senna generally outranges everything in the bot lane and is in a really, really good spot right now. Notably, T1 had a pretty standout performance with the pick alongside the Wukong for Keria. But instead, we're picking away the Viego from the Ari. Both champions work really, really well with Viego's ult reset, both the Vex and the Ari. So, be interested to see what we look for on RNG's side. Ezreal's a very, very safe pick, but gives PSG a pretty good window to go Kaisa. Um, Leona Karma can put a lot of or do a lot of damage to the Kaisa pick though, so something to watch out for. But I also imagine picking a jungler before the second ban phase is going to be pretty important, but I could be wrong. Nope, I'm not. Bear locked in here. Generally looking for that early playmaking potential in the face of the Viego. Looking to affect the map before Viego can get outside and impact it himself. The Xayah pick into Ezreal is interesting. Being able to arcane shift out of the Featherstorm is pretty important. But generally, you kind of get poked pretty hard by Ezreal in the early levels. So, both teams looking at a potential Leona or Nautilus pick, as both support and top lane are open for both teams. Karma is banned alongside the Ezreal, as I kind of pointed out before. Has a lot of utility in that function. Alongside the Ezreal, picks like the Braum and the Rakan also enter the conversation because being able to dash to Arcane Shift or Ezreal after Arcane Shift is very important. Rebel taking off the table is kind of interesting. It has to be some sort of meta read into Ozai, I think. Taking away Rakan from Ming seems pretty good, leaving you with a Leona, but you could also pick Leona into it. Kind of understandable. Braum would also be a pretty savage beat into the Vex. So we'll see what RNG's last ban will be. The Kennen. Kennen, I think, is almost unplayable because of Silas. You can't really blind pick this that unless you are feeling fairly confident. But also with mid locked in, the threat of Silas is a little bit less. But interesting how many AP top laners are taken away. We actually see the Xayah taken away from, or the Rakan taken away from ezreal. I think a Braum pick could be very, very interesting. I don't really want to see Poppy, I don't think, but Poppy is pretty good into Rakan. Yes, Braum, baby. And then in the top lane, blind pick Gwen. I guess you could get Jaxed if you go Gwen, but going Gnar with Gwen open, I think Gwen is the only answer to those like Hullbreaker top champions. So it's interesting that you would go to blind Gnar like this. Yeah, you're just gonna get Gwen. PSG have a really, really good comp with this Gwen pick, but I don't have confidence in them being able to outplay RNG. Uh, I think it mostly has to be Ozai to really step up to the plate on this Gwen pick to punish the Gnar in mini form, especially around that level 6 win up where Gwen has a lot of value. I think there's different parts of RNG's draft that technically work pretty well, but PSG's gotten a lot of draft capital here and really capitalized on it. It'll be interesting to see. Um, I think Ming on this Braum pick can also flex pretty hard, so it'll be a really cool game to watch, I think.